I think usually the first question is the most, yeah. Dr. Atta?
No, 2 or 3 speakers have shown a table in which the resources on technology and resources were mapped and some numeric figures were given. So is it as per a standard?
Sorry.
There was a table in which 2 speakers gave figures on the technology, the quality, adaptability, some figures were there. So are they as per any particular standard? How do you arrive at those figures?
I guess this is the language reports that were produced in the project.
In terms of resources where you have reached, you have given some measure.
Yeah, I'm sure we have some of the authors of...
Yeah.
Do I have to press it?
Yeah,
okay.
Polish and Bulgarian speakers probably gave those figures.
Yes. The numbers are coming from our language report. There are language reports on every language, and there are huge tables listing all these specialties, language resources and technologies, and we are supposed to give numbers, to assign numbers on how we view the quality, coverage, availability of these resources. And what I presented and what Svetla presented was just an extract from these tables, just to show the strong points and weaker points of our technologies and resources. So,
what is the basis for arriving at that number?
I think we can answer at the global level. There is something like 29 or 30 reports for all the languages, and some of the countries just decide to select a couple of experts and basically ask them questions about their feelings. So they are very subjective. I think we can challenge them, and I hope that over the couple of years to come, we will get more rational figures through evaluations.
But there were some guidelines of which numbers should be assigned to a certain status. So there is this range between 0 and 6. That's what we have. And there were some ideas. Well, if the tool is available, open source, then you should give this number. Or if it's not equally covered, so that the number should be lower. So it was subjective, in fact.
Okay. Second question, in your talk, you said about syntactic valency dictionary. What do you mean by syntactic valency?
Well, in fact, it's a habilitation project of one of our employees, and it's just a couple of verbs which are carefully documented and carefully filled as far as the frames are concerned. So I don't know much details, Maciej, again, out of this particular subject, but you can refer to our page, and there is this page of this project, and probably there are more things to see there.
Then you also talked about...
Very short one then.
Yeah. Tools for quality improvement. Are there any automatic tools for quality improvement of the resources? One of the speakers talked about it.
Yes, I was mentioning the tools for quality improvement, and we are now working, but it's just starting, so I won't tell you much details on detecting errors in the national corpus of Polish. That's what I said, that there is this 1 billion size corpus, and there are definitely errors, even though the 1 million subcorpus was manually annotated, but the rest of it was annotated using the tools that were trained on the 1 million sample. So even if their quality is quite high, and quite high means 99.9, which is not true, in fact, because this kind of quality was not yet achievable. Even then we'll have errors, so there must be certain ways to detect them and to let users improve them. But I won't give you any specific details on the algorithm because it's now starting.
Well, just to complete that, in the report that Flernet has published, I think there is a chapter by Jan Odijk and his group about the validation of language resources. So I refer you to Flernet website. Joseph?
Yes, taking into account those numbers we referred to in the white papers, or maybe other figures that you may have, How would you compare the situation for language technologies for the Central and Southeast European languages? Do you think they are at about the same level, or do you think there are big discrepancies among them?
Marko, you want to take first?
Should I? Okay, I can try and answer to this question. I think I already said that so in my presentation that for all those languages, Caesar languages, we are lacking the advanced tools. So, for instance, we don't have things like word sentence ambiguation, an error resolution. We don't have dialogue systems. We don't have that type of advanced tools. So, in this respect, we don't even need numbers to say that. But if you look at the numbers, well, I would say the basic tools, what is considered to be covered by basic BLARC, are more or less here. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to accommodate all those tools and resources that already exist to this common level of recommendations, either as CES or XCES or and in order, and of course, add necessary metadata in order to be accessible through MetaShare. Yeah.
That's okay. We still have time for one or two more questions. Well, maybe I can use my privilege of chairing the session to ask one question. I heard very often in your presentations that for instance, the national corpora, both for Croatian, Bulgarian, Polish, is available. And I know that most of this is derived from some heritage. What do you mean by available, and how do you perceive that?
Okay. So Croatian National Corpus is available for querying over the internet. It has been available from the day one. And as soon as we collected the first 7 million, it was searchable through web. Now we do not have web interface anymore. We're using Bonito and Manatee client server architecture. So, but still, there is no limitation. So anyone can simply go using Bonito and fully access all 101 million token lemmatized and MSD tagged corpus.
So we cannot use it in HLT, for instance. If I want to derive n-grams and I need the 100 million on my desktop, can I get it, or it's just through the online browsing?
No. In that case, you should ask us. So in that case, that's a derivative.
As far as the national corpus of Polish is concerned, I already told you that there is this 1 billion huge corpus, and there is this 1 million manually annotated sample. So the annotation is the same, and it's a standard multi-level annotation starting from morphosyntactic properties up to the word sense disambiguation. But as far as availability is concerned, of course, we are subject to some licensing limitations. So it's not like that we can give out the data that we are working on, because we are not supposed to, and not permitted to by the content owners. But well, as far as the research purposes are concerned, it's negotiable, I guess. So it's different with this 1 million sample, because it collects selected text fragments that are small enough to be outside, yes, from the licensing problems. But well, with the 1 billion size corpus, it's different.
Bulgarian National Corpus is available for querying on the internet. It's 500 million. It's also fully morphosyntactically and semantically annotated by means of the Bulgarian WordNet. Word sense is from the Bulgarian WordNet. Also, it's partially phrase structure, annotated syntactically for phrase structure. Issues are copyright issues, of course. We have an extract of the corpus which contains samples obtained from the internet only, but still we are not sure whether we can distribute those samples freely, whether we are allowed to distribute these samples freely.
Well, Hungarian as a language stands out from this group, but not as far as the provision of the national corpus, a 183 million word compilation, fully annotated and tagged. Hungarian, having an extremely rich morphology, we made sure that we have an extremely sophisticated online query form, which I believe serves the interest of the general public, the linguists, not necessarily the language technologists, I recognize that, but for obvious licensing reasons alluded to by my colleagues, we are not in a position to release the corpus for downloading, but we are very receptive of individual requests for things that would go beyond what is offered on the online query form.
Thank you very much. Well, last question, if there is any. Yes, Jan, this is really the last one. Can you just...
I have more of a suggestion. I'm very disappointed that all these corpora, that the IPR has not been taken care of properly. I mean, not good enough for HLT to work on. So if you cannot make it available for download for people, could you make an API or a web interface so that people from HLT can still access those data? The data remain on your servers, but they can do their processing, probably also then on your servers. I don't know how that will work technically. And so they can still derive their language models or their n-grams or whatever they want to have.
Thank you very much, Jan.